everybody, Coach William here from Restored Strength, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use your lacrosse ball. So if you purchased one of our mobility kits or just purchased one on your own, you have one of these blue, green, different color things. So first thing I'm going to say about these tools in specific, don't touch your spine. For God's sake, don't put this on your spine. You're going to destroy your back, and I'm kind of exaggerating it, but you're going to really put an unnecessary amount of strain and pain onto your back, especially on your spine. Like, just don't touch that, okay? Just don't. So I just want to make it clear, this does not touch your spine. All right, now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about how to use this thing. So same thing as anything else, 30, 60 seconds. Yes, you can go longer. It just depends on your tolerance. So the first area that I like to go into is going to be the foot. And so with the foot, I'm going to start by going into an up and down motion. And so with this in particular, I'm letting my weight go into the ball as if I'm trying to stomp on it, and I'm pulling myself up and down. From there, I'm going into the outer edge of my foot, same thing, pushing in pressure, starting from the midfoot, going to the outer edge, then finishing more in the inside of my foot. Now, I'm going up and down in all these three areas, and the other thing that you can go into is the heel. So going right into the center of that heel, trying to loosen up that tissue and that tension there. And the last area to get into the foot is going to be underneath the ball of your foot. So underneath that big toe going across all the other little toes, you're gonna go from side to side, or you can just hang out there and just push into it. Now, let's say you're in a seated chair and this isn't too much tension. By all means, feel free to stand up and do the same thing. You're gonna get more pressure there, but that does put more strain on the foot. So wherever your tolerance is at, you're gonna meet yourself where you're at. The next thing that we're gonna go into is going to be the calf. I particularly like getting into the calf by getting the ball and placing it right behind the knee and just slightly below. And what I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna squeeze that ball, and I'm gonna grab my hands as they're cusped together, and I'm going to squeeze into it. So you'll get a little bit in the hamstring, but the goal is to get into the calf. And the way to do that is by getting your foot to go up and down. Then you can create some circles. You can go in and out with that toe. Just get your foot to move around with that ball on the back side of your calf, really squeezing that inward. And again, you're gonna find different areas. You can play around with different spots alongside the calf. And then the next area that we're gonna get into is the hamstring. And so to get into the hamstring, I'm gonna grab my ball and I'm gonna place it not too high, not too low, but more or less in the center of my back thigh. You can go closer to the outer edge. You're gonna get a little bit more tension there, and that's where most people have trigger points or knots or other fancy words we wanna give out, but the areas that are tight. And so what I'm gonna do here is I can just hang out. I can turn inward, I can turn outward. My favorite thing to do is to kick my leg forward to extend my knee, and then to pull it back. And this area is pretty tight on me. And so I can also have my foot relax and I can lean forward into it. You're gonna hold on to that spot for 30, 60 seconds. You can find another spot if you wanna go a little bit higher up, you can, but start in the center and then move your way up. So the next area that we're gonna hit is the glute. And with the glute, it's obviously your butt muscle. You can just take a seat on that ball and lean into it. From there, you can go from side to side, trying to find those tight areas. And if for yourself that seems to be, like you can use a little bit more tension, you can use a wall. And so by using a wall, you're getting yourself in a more upright position, and you're gonna get into those specific spots even more. So again, I'm going to the side of my hip, which is my glute. From there, I'm gonna press into the wall, going from side to side. I can go up and down. I can find a spot, pin it there. The other area that we're gonna move into then is from the glute. This is called your TFL. So it's this muscle here on the side Mainly here's your hip bone. You want to go just gently to the side of it. And I'm going to get right into that spot. And so that's going to be a little more tender for most people, but it's an area that you can hit as well. You shouldn't be going on the bone on this spot here. It's not that you're going to cause any harm. It's just, it doesn't feel good. So trying to find that TFL is going to be right alongside the hip, and it's just going to be slightly above. So we want to go up and around this area. The next area that we're going to get into are called your rhomboids, and this is this area in between your shoulder blades. So like I said earlier, don't touch your spine. Don't do it. Don't even think about it, okay? You want to go right to the side here. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to place that ball on the side of my shoulder blade. So here's my shoulder blade. I'm going to go right on the side. And all I'm going to do is go up and down, left and right, finding those areas of tension. And I'm not looking for my spine or my shoulder blade. I'm looking for that space right in between it. I can cross my arm over and get into those different spots, going from side to side, up and down. Whatever feels best for you. You're going to know your body better than I do. The next area from the rhomboids is going to be your traps. These are these upper neck muscles. Same idea, same concept, placing it right above that area and just going from side to side, up and down. The trick here is that the ball's going to move, so you can periodically adjust it. That's fine. Just allow yourself to have space to move in between these different spots, right? And so if you have a corner edge where like there's a doorway or a frame, you can pin the ball against that area and go into the top neck, which is going to be the traps and the levator here. So if I'm using a wall against me, I can get into this top area here and go from side to side, kind of as if I'm trying to tackle a wall. And so the next area that we're going to get into, we went from the back, now we're going to move into the front, is called the pec. So the pec is going to be on the top of your chest here. And so you can have your arm up against the wall, going from side to side, up and down. You can also cross your arm behind you, get a further stretch that way, or even behind the back of the neck, going up and down into that area. You can go right directly below the collarbone. There is a muscle there, subclavicle something. I'm not going to use terminology because I'm drawing a blank on it, but that's going to be a really tender spot to hit. Hit that spot, okay? Because it's going to help move your collarbone. And from there, you can go into the main pec here, all up and around that chest area. Go a little bit higher because that's where most of that tissue and that tension is going to be. And lastly, the other areas that you can hit is right around the deltoids. So you can go from this, the side, the front, and the back. So if I'm going to the front, I'm just having that ball in front of my shoulder, rolling from side to side. I don't want to go too aggressively here because it's more of a sensitive area. And so all I'm going to is go right across that shoulder area. Then I can go into the middle side of it. Same thing there, going up and down by bending my knees, rotating around, doing circles. And then lastly, I'm going to go into the posterior side of my shoulder, which is going to be the back side. And from there, what I'm going to do is just roll up and down with that. And so with this in particular here, I'm just going to allow myself to get the tension I need by not forcing any of that. There are a dozen other areas that you can hit. Those are the main spots that I find that feel best. If you go on YouTube and find other videos to go ahead and practice, absolutely do so. But these are the areas that you can use for your lacrosse ball.